Good morning. Welcome to the Premium Public Video Forecast discussion for Friday, February 21st, 2025. Well, we've had a lot to ponder and think about over the past couple of weeks. We've had several storms that have produced moderate snowfall, some locations getting quite a bit, like in southern New Jersey, and other areas missing out, like parts of the interior. We've had a lot of ice of late, and we've also had a lot of wintry mix. We've also had a lot of models creating a lot of crazy solutions. Like, for example, yesterday around this time, we were supposed to have somewhere around, I don't know, 10 to 35 inches of snow, depending on what model guidance you were looking at. And then you had your snow, not your snow, well, you had snow maps, you had your favorite phone apps producing all sorts of solutions. And of course, the general public sees that and they're like, well, we better be prepared for 3 feet of snow. And then you had your meteorologist, like myself, who was warning, hey, look, this is kind of an all or nothing event. So where we're at now, well, I think we're at the point where we start to transition towards spring. But this isn't going to be a fast flip on to spring. It's going to be a step up, and there's going to be some bumps along the road because we're still dealing with the polar vortex. So we have a couple of things that we're going to watch and involve here. And so today I'm going to explain them and describe what I'm expecting as we move forward. Now, if you're interested in seeing this evolution on a day-by-day basis with technical discussions and videos like this every day, definitely check out the Premium Consulting membership, only $15 a month. It actually helps everything I do here. So it funds everything. So again, for all the premium subscribers that are in place right now, I really thank you. And yeah, I know a lot of you guys come for the winter and leave for the spring and summer. I get it. But along with the premium membership, you also get the ability to send me emails. Hey, I have a party this summer. I have a wedding, something of that nature. Drop me an email. I guide you along the way. That's part of being a premium member. It's not just about winter storms after all. We have to watch out for severe thunderstorms and all that other stuff. And of course, if you don't have the funds to do that, I get it. Definitely, please like, share, and subscribe. This channel actually helps quite a bit and gets the word out on meteorological information that you can actually trust. It kind of helps to overwhelm a lot of the hype and nonsense that's out there. You know, oh, wow, the world's going to end. This is going to be the worst storm ever. We've never seen anything like this before. Nonsense like that. It actually helps quite a bit. So let's dive into the data now that I got all that out of the way. So here's our polar vortex right now. We've had our stretch. It's starting to consolidate and it's retreating northward. And even as it's retreating northward, it's trying to stretch again. But the overall theme over the next 10 days is that it shifts into this orientation. And this orientation is very important as we head into March, because what this does is that not only does it start to force the polar jet stream to retract, it also aligns into more of a west to east scenario here. So this opens up the floodgates from the Pacific. Okay, this signal here, not the minute, it's a little bit of a lag, but then we're starting to get data, and some individuals are picking up on this on another stretch. Now, I talked about this all the way back in January, that, hey, in mid-March, we'll probably see another stretch of the polar vortex because this signal just doesn't stop. It gradually falls away, kind of like an echo. So this echo of a stretch here would suggest, hey, look, another cold wave, okay, by the time we get to mid-March. Understand, though, by this point, our sun angle is something akin to what you would see in late September. So your polar and Arctic air masses moderate significantly. So I see a scenario where we're on a roller coaster in March. And, you know, that's kind of par for the course for March overall around the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic and even the Great Lakes, where you get this wave of cold and warm, and everyone gets sick and no one knows what to wear because one day you're 60 and the next day you're 35. and it's rain snow mix with not much of accumulation, but just feels raw out there. So this is not surprising. We're seeing this, but notice this time with this stretch, it's not as extreme. Like this was extreme. This is extreme. Well, it was extreme. This, not so much. It's a little stretch, a little bit, but it also would suggest that we're going to get in a rebound by the time we get to the end of March, which means another surge of warm air. And each time this happens, the stretching of the polar vortex reduces. Meanwhile, our tropical forcing, again, pretty much dominated by what we're seeing with the MJO. We have a weak La Nina signal. Okay, we've been going over this in the premium discussions and videos where, yeah, you have a La Nina signal in the SOI, but it's already collapsing and fading, and the sea surface temperatures will follow. So right now, typically in La Nina, the sea surface temperatures lock in and then the atmosphere responds. Right now, it's kind of reverse. Actually, it's been like this all winter, where the atmospheric conditions driven by the MJO put on an influence on the sea surface temperatures in the ENSO region, and so you get this drop, right? So we've seen this La Nina signal that was driven by this. Now we're moving into this. We're going to start to shift more towards warmer waters, and you'll see the sea surface temperatures in Nino 3.4 and 4 start to spike. So what you really want to do when you're looking at this, and again, this isn't something you do every year. You have to consider these factors year in, year out. You don't want to lock yourself into rules. What you want to do is look how the atmosphere is responding, go look and understand how that has worked in the past, make adjustments for things like global warming and other factors, and also consider how those relationships are responding in the current environment. When it comes to meteorology, there is no hard rule. There's guidelines, there's guardrails, but there is no hard rule because we're constantly changing, because we're dealing with chaos and changing dynamics literally by the second. So what we're seeing here is, yeah, this would support an active subtropical jet stream, support a subtropical jet stream that would allow the polar jet stream to drop along the mid latitudes and support colder conditions. And yeah, you'll definitely see more storms. It doesn't guarantee winter storms for your backyard. There's a lot more that goes into it. But it's a heck of a lot harder to get any type of winter storm in this scenario than this one. So you could see why there were some individuals very excited about this signal. And like I said, if everything lined it up, boom, you get your winter storm. Fortunately, it did not, because we are not in a scenario where we're in a perfect phase. You want to be in a negative QBO to really lock that in. Right now, really, for all of winter, we've been in positive. So that's why we're seeing this kind of disconnect, which is why in the winter forecast, I warned against the idea of blockbuster winter storms. You might be able to pull off one, but really the odds are against you. So now we understand the forcing mechanism. So you see the 500 millibar pattern. And what this tells me, when I'm seeing this here, is that we're going to get waves of cold air and warm air. Okay, we're going to be on this roller coaster. But as we move forward with this roller coaster, these polar air masses that drop in are going to modify faster, and the warmer air masses are going to be able to linger longer. Why? Higher sun angle, and also the evolution of our polar vortex. Now, up to this point, up to March 8th, we don't have the influence yet of the stratospheric vortex stretching here. But what I would suggest is that after this point, probably around mid-March, this drops down a little bit further south, maybe towards this central Hudson Bay, maybe the northern Hudson Bay, somewhere in this area. It allows another cold surge to drop in. But remember, by this point, with the higher sun angle, your 850 millibar temperatures are not going to correspond the same. There's going to be a bit of a lag because your surface areas are going to warm much faster because there's more sunlight and it's more direct. So you have to consider those two factors. And you also have to weigh that against with the model guidance that you're seeing. You can no longer take your 850 millibar temperatures at like 0 0 degrees Celsius and assume snow or even frozen precipitation. So you have to make those adjustments. Definitely check out the premium discussion I wrote yesterday afternoon under Steven's thoughts on how to handle the rising sun angle and the 850 millibar temperatures and how to adjust that in the model guidance. Again, this is why you don't just take straight model guidance. You have to think. You have to weigh and adjust. So you're seeing this pattern evolving here. This is an active weather pattern. Notice in the subtropical jet stream, there's a lot of short waves marching their way through the region. A lot of activity swinging on through from the west coast to the east coast. So this is the result of our phase 8, 1, 2 period where you get a lot of these short waves. And because you don't have a huge ridge out here, because we're not in those phases, you allow the polar jet stream to interact and drop south. And this looks like a pretty good signal if you're going to ski country in the, let's say, into the Green and White Mountains, those areas. Still some pretty good potential here for some snowfall. Now, again, your 850 millibar temperatures, right now we are awfully cold. And I think we're the coldest we're going to be for the rest of the year, really. I think that we're going to moderate nicely from here on out. All right, so through the weekend, we see the cold air retreat. And again, you see there's our next cold wave, but notice it doesn't drop as far south as the previous one because the polar vortex is retreating at this time. So your core Arctic air stays up north. You get this wave of polar air, but even as it's moving through, it's already starting to moderate and give way. And again, you get these shots and you keep on going in this roller coaster, cold, warm, cold, warm. And I'm not looking for 70s or 80s or anything of that nature like what we saw a couple of years ago, but more of we drop into the 30s and 40s, up to the 50s, maybe a few days in the 60s, back down into the 30s and 40s, up to the 50s and 60s, and then the next wave, hey, this looks cold, but it's actually in the 40s by this point, because again, moderation, your higher sun angle, your evolution. So we're kind of doing a step up rather than a step down like we do in the fall. This is a step up towards a warmer weather pattern overall, because after all, we are moving into spring. And by this point, we'll be in meteorological spring. So that is the overall theme of our weather patterns. Currently, right now, we have temperatures, again, pretty chilly. We're under the influence of that Arctic air mass that is producing teens and 20s over the interior, mid to upper 20s along the coast with a stiff northwesterly wind at 10 to 20 miles per hour. So, of course, the wind chill feels more like the single digits and teens out there. So you definitely want to bundle up. Gusts are pushing into the mid to upper 20s. Possibly a few 30-mile-per-hour gusts are going to be mixed in there. With some of the mixing of the 850 millibar winds down to the surface. So certainly a breezy, chilly day is on the way for today. But not much in the way of precipitation. We have these troughs dropping through. That's pretty much going to produce scattered cloud cover. There's not a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. If you're going to get any type of snowfall, it's going to be in the northern Poconos or around the Catskills via lake enhancement and lake effect snow showers marching their way through from Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, swinging their way on through. But that is pretty much about it. It is going to be pretty quiet around here. And you can see on the infrared satellite picture, not much really going on all the way back into the plains. So that means this is going to be a quiet weekend. And we're going to gradually warm up as we move on through the weekend. Not a massive warm up, but we're going to inch our way up to the point where by the midweek, we're in the 50s. Enjoy it, because then we get knocked back down again, only to have to climb back up. Taking a look at our upper level winds, let me refresh this here real fast. And what I want to show you here, because I know that there's some individuals trying to advertise the potential of a big storm, right, in March and whatnot. Okay, yes, the atmosphere is changing, but the overall theme, the most important theme, if you're looking for a storm, is not changing. And that is that this jet stream is rocking and rolling. And let's go back to the west here, all the way to the Pacific. You see this right here? This is one heck of a jet streak, and it is driving towards North America. And as we move through our phases, this is going to be able to grow as we head towards March. This is a very, very progressive signal. And really what it tells me, when we look at our pattern overall, and we go back and take a look at our 500 millibar pattern, guess what? This is a progressive pattern still. you don't have any time to slow down any storms. So you have to, again, work in the environment that you're in. And the question you should ask yourself, if anyone starts advertising big storms or major winter storm to close out the winter or anything of that nature, you have to ask them this one question. Why would the overall theme that we've seen for the past 5 months change? And that theme is everything's moving fast. It's really hard to phase anything. So, what in the driving mechanisms in the atmosphere is changing to create said storm? You're going to hear crickets because no one's going to want to answer that question, who's pushing this stuff. In reality, everything's moving fast. Move, move, move. On the move. They're racing towards the finish line. So this tells me we have a continuation of a progressive pattern. If you're in the Poconos, Catskills, Green White Mountains in New England, the Eastern Great Lakes, yeah, there's still some snow potential out there for you, and you're gonna have to want to be prepared for that, which is typical for those regions anyway. But if you're on the coastal plain, we're pretty much done with the winter weather effects aside from a rogue rain snow scenario changing over to rain, let's say in northwest New Jersey, stuff like that. But other than that, I'm not really seeing anything major. On our 500 millibar PVA, again, the weekend's pretty quiet. Lots of short waves swinging on through, not a lot of moisture lift. So as a result, we get a few troughs, but it's pretty much just a lot of scattered cloud cover through the weekend. Early next week, we have a nice little shortwave swinging on through, but by this point, again, notice there's no huge amplitude in the 500 millibar pattern here. So these are just cold fronts swinging their way through. Again, you get a little bit of a rain-snow mix possible on Tuesday evening, changing over to rain. Very progressive pattern evolving here. I'm not seeing anything that is impressive at all. Okay, so everything just keeps on moving, keeps on rocking on through. So if you're looking for any type of winter weather impacts, you're probably going to want to head towards the interior and in most cases northwest of even the forecast area up towards central New York and New England in this weather pattern. And you can see that also another key thing is also look at 850 millibars. A key rule, if your 850 millibar low is well to your southeast, you're most likely going to get very little, if any, precipitation because this is going to drive a lot of your forcing. So there we go on through this weekend into early next week. And if you're looking for any type of frozen precipitation and the 850 millibar trough or upper level low remains to your northwest, well, guess what? That's just rain, no matter how much you're hoping for some sort of shift. Oh, yeah, and this type of scenario right here, where it tries to redevelop towards the southern New England, that would support something up here, not here. So just want to make that very clear. So that way we understand the changing dynamics here involved here in this scenario. So let's dive into this forecast. For today, scattered cloud cover, windy, winds from the northwest of 10 to 20 miles per hour. High temperatures will range from the upper teens to mid 20s over the northern interior, upper 20s to lower 30s in the Delaware River Valley, lower to mid 30s along the coast. For tonight into tomorrow morning, clear skies, winds subside from the northwest, still around 5 to 15 miles per hour. Lows in the single digits to lower teens over the northern interior, mid to upper teens along the coast and in your suburbs. For tomorrow afternoon, scattered cloud cover is expected with high temperatures in the lower to mid 30s over the northern interior, mid to upper 30s along the coast. On Sunday, we warm up just a tad more. Low temperatures ranging from the upper teens to lower 20s over the higher elevations, lower to mid 20s over the interior, but lower elevations, upper 20s to lower 30s on the coast. For high temperatures, look for upper 30s to lower 40s over the northern interior and on the immediate coast, lower to mid 40s in the Delaware River Valley. Again, moderately warmer. We're pretty much creeping back up towards near normal after being below normal. By the time we get to Monday, scattered cloud cover, trough passes to the north, could produce a rogue isolated flurry up towards the Poconos, but for the most part, pretty quiet. Look for low temperatures to range from the mid to upper 20s. Again, there's that warmer setup here. High temperatures will range from the lower to mid 40s over the northern interior, mid to upper 40s along the coast. On Tuesday, another little weak cold front moves through with some showers. Could see a little bit of a snowflake or two mixed in, but this is overall a warm setup with low temperatures ranging from the mid to upper 30s and high temperatures ranging from the lower to mid 40s on the immediate coast, upper 40s to lower 50s away from the coast. If we get enough sunshine ahead of this cold front, we could even touch a few mid 50s out there. On Wednesday, another trough swings through, scattered cloud cover, a rogue isolated shower or two. Look for low temperatures to range from the lower to mid 30s over the northern interior, mid to upper 30s along the coast. High temperatures will range from the lower to mid 40s over the northern interior, mid to upper 40s along the coast, and upper 40s to lower 50s in the Delaware River Valley. On Thursday, another cold front swings through. Again, we have a very progressive, fast moving pattern here. This will again introduce the potential for scattered showers around the region. You could see a rogue flake or two in the Poconos and Catskills, but this is overall a warm storm. Look for low temperatures ranging from the mid to upper 20s over the northern interior, lower to mid 30s along the coast. High temperatures will range from the lower to mid 40s over the northern interior, upper 40s to lower 50s along the coast. On Friday, scattered cloud covered, the cold front exits, be a little bit chillier with low temperatures in the lower to mid 20s over the higher elevations, upper 20s to lower 30s over the rest of the interior, lower to mid 30s along the coast, and high temperatures ranging from the lower to mid 20s in the higher elevations, upper 20s to lower 30s over the rest of the interior, and mid to upper 30s along the coast. Again, notice the progression here. We're very cold now. We warm up. We get another cold shot. We warm back up. But that cold shot is not as impressive. Even though the 850 millibar temperatures are the same, the high temperatures are a little bit warmer because our sun angle is more direct. And not once in this forecast period do we have a major storm. We have some rainfall, we have some active progressive cold fronts, but no major storms on the way. So let's make that very clear as we head towards March. That is your forecast for today. I hope you enjoyed this premium public video discussion. And as always, stay safe out there.